Hi everyone, welcome to our cozy nook where we read, we craft and crochet and talk about and think about making life cozy and celebrating the seasons. I'm Rachel, and today we are in my little living room book nook. There's this really beautiful built-in that my home came with, and so it's really a great place to decorate and to add a lot of my books. There's so many more upstairs, but this at least there's a good number of here. So today we need to get it organized because what you can't see, you can see this nice gallery wall that I was working on. I just hung up these leaves. That's why I'm actually sitting on a step ladder. But there's a lot of clutter down below. There's some books that I need to go through to see if I'm going to unhaul them or keep them. There's just some mess down there. I want to make some storage space at the base of the bookshelf for my crochet projects. And right now they can't fit there because there's other clutter. So let's organize a little bit, make my book nook even cozier, and we will maybe also choose my next read. And I'll show you what I'm crocheting. Okay, so I'm gonna spin you around. I'm gonna give you a little tour of this little nook, and then we're gonna get started. This is what we're working with as far as this little reading nook. Now, as much as I would love to have a chair there to actually be sitting and reading in that little nook, my couch is right here. So there's not really enough space for it. But what I do want to do today is just clear up this space because I do sit there on my couch, and this does become my little reading nook because it's still this is what I see when I'm reading, this beautiful window that's over here. And then of course the little gallery wall, which I've updated for Halloween, and then probably will switch out after Halloween to be just a little bit more fall, and have all my books there that I can take a look at. Not all of them, there's so many more upstairs. But I've got these boxes that I want to go through that are just kind of clutter, and also I want to see what books I'm going to be unhauling. And then down here is where I would love to have this bottom space down here be storage for crochet projects. So I have a few different baskets that I've thrifted. And by the way, this piece right here is thrifted. That is an old school desk. It's actually really cool. I want to get the clutter off of it so you can really see it a bit more. But that I thrifted, and this ladder I got off of Facebook Marketplace. It's like a blanket ladder. I thrifted a lot of those frames, and just trying to work to have my home feel kind of that vintage feel, but also then of course kind of repurpose. So right now, too much clutter. Let's work on the clutter. A lot of these different boxes of books, I feel like there's a lot that I can unhaul. I'm going to put away the step ladder, and we're going to see how it goes. So I went through the boxes that were under there. I have two boxes back here that are all just books that I want to keep. And then this is a pile of books that I maybe will donate. And then these two are piles of what I will donate. So I think right now I'm going to pop these books to donate into this box, and then I can start kind of sorting through. These are mostly books that I've read this year that I just don't know if I want to keep them or if I want to get rid of them. So I guess maybe I'll have to sit with that for a minute, but let me at least put these ones in here. And these are a mix. Most of these are ones that I've read that I just didn't really enjoy. Let me put these to the side for a second. And then some of them, like Demon Copperhead, I have 2 copies of it.
Editing Rachel here. I am realizing as I'm watching this back, I didn't do a very good job of explaining the plot of these novels, so bear with me. I promise I'll get better at this moving forward.
And I haven't read this yet, and I think I could really, really like it. So I think I'm gonna keep it for now, because if I really love something, I actually kind of really like having both the hardcover and the paperback. So I'm gonna keep this. 5 Wounds, read, didn't love. It was a little bit of a slog for me to get through towards the end. This one I almost put in the maybe pile. This is Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I don't read a ton of Riley Sager. This was actually my first ever Riley Sager. No, that's a lie. I read the one that was like sort of Lizzie Borden inspired, the only one left. I read that one. And of the two, I don't know, I actually kind of like them both equally, or just kind of thought they were both okay equally. So I don't think I would reread this, even though I would like to have Riley Sager sort of on my, this is my problem. I'm gonna talk myself out of donating all of these books. But I think this one can go. It's just a really pretty book. All right. I'm keeping it. This I can definitely get rid of because this was here when I moved in. It's a beautiful book. I guess I could use it as like decor in my kitchen, but it's an Italian favorites book. I don't really love Italian food, honestly. I lived in Italy for a while and it was amazing and the food was so, so great. But if I'm gonna go to a restaurant, Italian restaurant is like the lowest on my list. So that's gonna go along with Five Wounds. This, The Garden, read it, thought it was fine, wish it had done a lot more. I'm okay to get rid of it. Rosarita really didn't love, and it's called a novel. I would say it's a novella. It's very, very short, and I just didn't fully understand the overall point of that. Oh, this was a hard one. I loved Our Wives Under the Sea by Julia Armfield, and I was really excited for this like King Lear retelling because I'm a big Shakespeare fan. And this just did not do it for me. Private Rights by Julia Armfield did not do it for me. So that is going. This was a really interesting memoir. It's called Everything I Learned in a Chinese Restaurant. It's about a queer man and his upbringing and his family. I enjoyed it, but I probably won't read it again. I think it was a 3 or a 3.5 for me. And it's gonna be a good one for someone else to pick up. Another one that I was really excited about and just really kind of disappointed by was All Fours by Miranda July. I didn't love the storyline, I didn't love the characters, and it's one that I'm totally fine to kind of give away. Eleanor Oliphant is Completely Fine was not my favorite. Maybe because I myself have a lot of issues with anxiety and mental health, that it just sort of was not the right fit for me, and it was really kind of traumatic towards the end. So for me, I appreciate those who really love this book, but for me, it was not it. So I'm okay to give this one up. And then All Night Pharmacy, I again enjoyed, didn't love it enough to keep it. Same thing with Glassworks, enjoyed, kind of a slog to get through towards the end, didn't love it enough to keep it. This is a nonfiction called The Art Thief, which was very interesting, but it's almost one of those ones where I feel like if it was redone now as a documentary or something, it would be a little bit more engaging. There was just some questions that I had that I wanted them to dig deeper into, and while it was well written, it was not as engaging as I wanted it to be. I think I read it on a plane and it was fine, but I don't think I'll go back and read it again. And then this one, I wish I could throw across the room. This is a retelling of Carmilla, which I read for the first time this year and really loved. This was supposed to be like a retelling of Carmilla. I mean, it says on the back, a compulsive feminist reworking of Carmilla, the queer novella that inspired Dracula. I hated this book. I was so angry with how the characters were portrayed. I really disliked the depiction of queerness in this text as well. And as a queer woman, I am a little bit sensitive to that. Before I actually started YouTube, I filmed a few other videos that probably will never see the light of day. And one of them was me reading sort of like queer retellings of classics, which I do think I want to do again because there's some really interesting ones. And I read this, and I also read Frankenstein by Jeanette Winterson, and I loved this one. It lost me a little bit towards the end, but there's so much here that I think it's really worthwhile. And I read this in that same sort of like it was like I filmed a bunch of stuff. I just never really, maybe that footage will see the light of day. But if I can find a little clip of my feelings after this book, then maybe I'll insert it here. But just know, I really wanted to throw it across the room. I really was angry by this book, so I will gladly let this book go to a new home. And do I have it tabbed? Or oh, you know what? I was probably marking things that I hated. I've saved these two from the pile. The others that I'm considering, Her Majesty's Royal Coven, I very much disliked. Let me move you up a little bit. And I don't think I'll continue on in the series. It actually kind of freaked me out. So I think I'd rather save room on my shelves for books that I really, really loved. And this just was not, it wasn't one. This is a tricky one for me because Learn by Heart by Emma Donoghue, it was a really interesting story. It's a boarding school, it's queer, and I love both of those aspects. It was one that I was left feeling like I wish this could be rewritten in this way, but I do remember enjoying it. So I think it could be something that I reread in the future. So I do think I will keep this one. Also, it's really beautiful. Okay, Fingersmith I remember being so shocked by the twist in this one and really enjoyed it. I just don't love this version of it. This paperback copy, it's got some stains on it. So I think maybe for now, I could donate it, and then in the future, if another version of this book with a prettier cover falls into my lap, then maybe I would go with that. So yeah, I think for now, although do I want it kind of represented on my shelf? It is sort of like a very key text when it comes to sort of queer literature, kind of queer, especially sapphic literature. So maybe I do. This is the problem. All right. Hidden pictures, I think I'm good to get rid of. It's not something that I will read again. Very interesting with all the pictures that are in there. It kept my attention. I didn't love the reveal. Lots to say there, but we're gonna get rid of it. This book, I am still 100 pages in. And I tried to listen on audiobook as well. And I think at this point, I probably need to just get rid of it. This is Isola. I picked this up because I was convinced from the blurb on the inside cover that it was queer. And it is very not queer. It's about a woman who is stranded on an island because she falls in love with someone who the man she's supposed to marry is like, you can't actually marry him. And I was convinced for whatever reason that she had fallen in love with her maid, but she does have a maid and who's like her best friend. And so I'm reading the whole beginning of this and I'm like, okay, this is so sweet. Like they're meeting each other. They're so good friends, thinking it's gonna turn sapphic. And then it totally didn't. And then she met this man and she was falling in love with this dude. Not to say I can't not be interested if it's not sapphic or queer. Of course I can, but it just was dragging for me. It wasn't what I thought. And I don't think I'm gonna continue it. Did I finish this? This is a good question. I don't think I finished it. I think I still have one more. It's told in seasons. I think I still have one more. So this looks like I was sort of interested. I tabbed a few things. I don't remember almost anything about it, and I don't really remember liking the characters, but I think we'll keep it. Oh my goodness, I wanted to love this so much. Eat the Ones You Love. It's about this sentient plant, and it's sort of Little Shop of Horrors vibes, which as a huge musical theater nerd, I am obsessed. And thinking there was going to be like a sapphic Little Shop of Horrors, I was so excited, and it just really didn't do it for me. The timelines of this, there's sort of like a past timeline and a present timeline. This book would have been so much stronger if those timelines overlapped and the same situation, they were happening at the same time in tandem with each other. That would have made so much more sense for the characters, for the character motivations. Instead, it felt like we weren't getting enough in either timeline, and I just didn't feel the relationship between these two women. It's just one that I am so sad about because I really, really wanted to love it and I just didn't, but I don't think I can get rid of it. Even the idea of a sapphic Little Shop of Horrors and a man-eating plant, I can't. It's just for the vibes, and it's for the hope that someday someone will write a sapphic Little Shop of Horrors that will be amazing. So we're gonna keep it. Victorian Psycho, another one I wanted to love. I really wanted to. I love a nanny. I love a gothic story, and that's exactly what this is. A woman who comes to take care of these two children, and then some kind of finds out that the old nanny went missing, or governess, I guess. So I may keep it on my shelf just because look at that beautiful, gorgeous cover, but I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. It didn't have the pizzazz to it that I wanted it to. But for now, this is my problem. Burnt Offerings, I read it because it said it was one of like the scariest books you'll ever read, and I did not find that to be the case. Don't think I'll ever read it again. So I will go ahead and donate that one. Stag Dance by Tori Peters is a collection of short stories and one very long sort of novella. I actually picked this up to read for a queer book club that's in my area, and I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I think I'll keep it for now. Really interesting depictions of trans identity in these stories. So while I didn't love a lot of them, it could be something that I want to go back to and refer to in the future. And then this is a tough one too. Oh, did I want to love this so much. I used to be a high school English teacher and I taught The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, which for better or for worse, I don't necessarily think that it needs to be in the canon of literature as far as teaching anymore. I do think it's very important to essentially give maybe a chapter and then a discussion about the text itself and be able to hold those conversations with students and allow them to critique and think through what types of literature are deemed classics and deemed the American canon. I think this could be wonderful to teach in tandem with Huck Finn. It is a well-written text. It left me with many questions, and if you know Huck Finn very well, the first half of this novel is a retelling that doesn't give a ton more than what you've already read. I do think that that's what Percival Everett was trying to do, but for me, this one did not land in the way that I hoped it did. However, I am keeping this one on my shelf because I think having this on my shelf next to Huck Finn and as a retelling, I think this is something that was really essential. And I understand why it has the acclaim that it does. For me, there was just a little bit missing. So I am going to keep this one for now. And it's also a really beautiful cover. I mean, you never see the cover, you just see kind of the spine, but still, to know that I have this, I think I'm gonna need to have this. And also, if I ever do return to an educational setting, having this to be able to teach alongside Huck Finn, I think is going to be a great option. All right, my friends, now I've been yapping at you, and the whole point of this was to try to clear out. So, I mean, I've cleared out that bottom space, although now I just have books in boxes, but it's okay. So let's go ahead and dive in. I'll do a little bit more organizing, and then I'll try to get some of my crochet projects down underneath there, and I will show you a little bit about the crochet projects that I'm currently working on. All right, so we've done a little bit more organizing. We have some tea. This is a granny square that I made for a vest that I used the wrong hook size, so it was too big. So I was like, all right, I'll just use it as a coaster. It's perfect. So we are going to now take a look at organizing some of the crochet projects into some baskets. I only have this small basket and then this really large basket. I do have one other, but it's kind of dirty and I never cleaned it after I got it from the thrift store. So I need to clean that. So for now, I think we'll just focus on organizing these two, and then we'll just do a little final reveal of a little bit of the reorganized Book Nook. Now, in full transparency, yes, this Book Nook is more organized, but now I also have a ton of other stuff that I've put on the other side of the living room that I need to find a space for. So there's still a lot that needs to kind of be done, but for now I'm happy with getting some of that clutter away from here. For right now, we're just gonna organize a little bit with the crochet, and then we're gonna call it a day. And then I do think I'm gonna get some crochet done tonight, and I am going to start a new book. I'm not exactly sure what I'm gonna read, but maybe I will do some thinking about that and see what one looks good. Okay, also this tea, amazing. All right, so because I only have these two, I think what I'm going to do, I have a smaller project that I'm working on for my younger sister. She saw an Instagram post of little mini candy corn, and she asked me if I could make her some. So I said that I would do that for her. So I have made one already, which right here. I made this pink candy corn for her. It's a little bit, the colors don't have quite enough contrast to them because you're really getting sort of a white, a light pink, like a baby pink, and then this deeper peachy pink. I do have some deeper pinks, just not in a cotton yarn, and this is cotton. I have it in acrylic, and I guess I could make them in acrylic. I just prefer the stitch definition when it comes to the cotton yarns. So I think this little basket is just gonna be my little candy corn basket because I do wanna make her at least one more, maybe two more. All right, so we'll put our finished candy corn there. Now, here's the other thing that I did. I have never before worked with Feels Like Bliss, and it's hard to see your stitches. So I started a candy corn in Feels Like Bliss and that kind of really cute fuzz, except I definitely dropped stitches and he's not exactly the right shape. So I can't decide whether just to start over or whether to try to stuff him and maybe shape based on the stuffing in there. So I don't know, but for now we will put our fuzzy candy corn and our two little fuzzy candy corn, or three fuzzy candy corn yarns in here with the pink candy corn. I'm gonna have to make much more room in here, but it's okay. Then these are the colors for the kind of more traditional candy corn, but done in more of like a muted kind of farmhouse rust orange and gold. And then the other option that I sent for her was going to be really traditional brighter orange, yellow, and white. So she couldn't really decide. I said I probably have time to do both of them. So this is gonna be a tight squeeze, but at least I know that in this one little basket I have what I need for the candy corns. So, and if I took out the fuzz, the Feels Like Bliss, it would definitely fit a bit better, but I think for now, it's okay, it's fine. Because once I make one of them, then all of the other three yarns are gonna go out of here. So, and I'll probably do that tonight. So now I can just grab this and have that right next to me with my crochet bag. And this is all I need to grab when I'm ready to make her candy corns. Then the other thing that I think I'll put into this larger basket for now is I have recently been getting back, I do mainly amigurumi, and I've been recently getting back into some of the wearables. And I have a few different projects that I'm working on with acrylic yarn. So I figured for here, let me just throw my acrylic yarn projects right in here, and that way I will be all good to go when I want to pick it up. And they all basically use a 5mm hook. There's actually 3 projects that I'm working on that I'm pretty much halfway through all of them. So let me show you those 3. The sun's coming out. Perfect. Okay, so I actually have most of them in this strand bag right here. So let's try to put that there for now so I can show you. So the first thing that I'm working on is actually a second crow pillow, which actually I just put right behind me. So I crocheted this last year and it was my first tapestry project and my first pillow that I'd ever made. And I'm pretty happy with how the crow came out. I will link the pattern down below. So now I decided I really want a second crow. And what I'm gonna hopefully do, if you have ideas for this or suggestions, please put them down below because I feel a little lost with how to do it. I want the same pattern, but I want the crow to be facing the other way. And obviously I can't just turn the pattern because there's floats as far as the tapestry crochet stitch. So I don't know if maybe I download the photo and then I can maybe flip the photo in Canva, and that way I sort of follow the opposite direction. Or I'm thinking I just start from the other side and just kind of, I'm reading the chart from right to left, even though I'm crocheting from left to right. I don't know. If you have ideas, please let me know. When they're on the couch, I want them to be facing each other. So right now, because I just have the one, I'm gonna leave him right here because he goes with the vibe. But I do want to try to get him a brother or a sister. And this is probably my priority in the next couple of days because I want to get it done before Halloween, because I'm not going to keep it up for too much longer after Halloween, although maybe I will, just because the crows can be fall. So that I've made the back panel essentially. So the back panel's done. Actually, I think I've done a larger back panel than here. So that's concerning me a little bit. Like if I line it up, it's kind of going over the side a little bit, but again, this is curved around. I just think that I used the pattern is written for 18 by 18, and I think this is 16 by 16 as far as the pillow goes. My worry is just that it's gonna be a little bit too large. And also I didn't block this or anything. I haven't blocked this one either. That's the first project that I'm working on essentially. So this took a full skein of Red Heart Super Saver. So I have picked up another one. It's in the color Aran Fleck. So there's these really nice flecks in there. So that's what gives it a nice little impact when it is all stitched up. So that is probably going to be top priority to start on the front panel and get the crow done. So I'm putting that in there. My black yarn I think is over there. So I'm gonna have to grab that and add, but that's gonna be the first one. Then the second project that I'm working on also has these great flecks, and it is a sweater vest. And this is the front panel that I have completed for the sweater vest, and it has these really nice flecks. It's a green with beautiful flecks of white and sort of like a pumpkin color. And this is Loops and Threads Impeccable, and it is in camo tweed is what it's called. So it's gonna give you those beautiful flecks, just like in the pillow that I'm making. So I have to do the second panel. I've done just the front panel there. So I'm gonna put that in there with my yarn. And then the last one, oh, and here's what was left of the first skein. So I got 2 more skeins. I think one is probably gonna be enough, but just in case I got 2. And then the last option, or the last wearable that I'm working on is, which isn't really true. I have a few other wearables that I haven't looked at in months and months, but that's for another video. For now, we're just focusing on the ones that I'm currently working on. And it is another sweater vest, but done in granny squares. So this is based off of, I think the pattern's called the Agnes sweater vest. And I wanted this color scheme because I saw a sweater vest like this at Macy's or somewhere last year, and I fell in love with this color pattern and just the way that it was the same pattern of granny square throughout. So I've done, again, the front panel. I think I need 18 more to be finished with the front and the back. And so far, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more, but I'm out of yarn. So I need to, I mean, this is all I have left, these little teeny tiny little things. So I need to pick up more yarn. I think I do have some more white upstairs. I don't have any navy. So I need to make sure I pick those up in the navy. And otherwise, that is all that's in that bag. So now that gives me each of my 3 different wearable projects in one basket. So I'm happy with that, happy with my candy corn basket. I know it's overflowing, but it's okay. We're gonna, after tonight when I make one color, that's gonna be 3 different skeins gone. So I think we're good to go. I'm gonna just pop this underneath, and then we'll do a final tour of the reading nook. I'm also thinking I just need to get rid of Middle of the Night by Bradley Sager. As much as I do wanna keep it, there's just too many books to read, and I'm not gonna reread it. And I like having it just because it's a nice book, nice looking book, but I think probably I should just keep books that are 4 or 5 stars for me, because there's just too many other books in my home, and I want to look at books that make me smile and make me really happy. Anyway, thank you so much for spending the day with me. I hope that you have time today to grab a cup of tea, grab a crochet project or a really good book, cozy up in a nice warm nook, and have a great day.